Hey guys, my name is Cynthia. Welcome to the Women Retreat. Today we'll be talking about the 20 spiritual gifts. I will do just 10 today because I don't want to go for too long. So we'll just dive in. The first spiritual gift is the gift of prophecy. And the gift of prophecy is prophetically revealing hidden things. So when it comes to the gift of prophecy, so many people think they have the gift of prophecy, and some people will come and say, oh, I'm a prophet. You have to be careful. Match it with the word of God. Or do you believe this person only talk about good and not talk about bad? When I talk about bad, I mean like the sin of the person or the sin of the nation. Because if we remember in the Bible, the Old Testament, when the prophets speak, they speak for God to the people, but they didn't only speak about only good. They speak about the sin of the nation, or the sin of the city, or the sin of the person, so God can be able to do a work in them to transform it around. It just remind me in 2 Samuel 12, when Nathan rebuked David. David was sinning against the Lord because of the thing that he was doing. How would Nathan know that David was sinning against the law unless God had revealed it to him? So when it comes to prophecy, when it comes to prophet, when you have the gift of prophet, God is speaking to you for the people, for the nation, for the city. And it's not only about just blessings, but also sins that they are doing, things that is coming, so they can be able to guard that. Also they can be able to be ready for it. So that if you have that prophetic gift, that's the gift of prophecy. And then we'll come to the gift of miracle. The gift of miracle is it's just talking about things that defy nature. When it comes to the gift of miracle, is the miracle defy the law of nature. You know, when we talk about when we talk about defying nature, we talk about the Old Testament, where it shows example of miracles in Exodus 14, the parting of the Red Sea, and in Exodus 16, God sent daily manna from heaven. Even we'll talk about in the book of Daniel 6, when Daniel in the lion den. Those are miracles. Those are the things that we call miracles because it defy nature. And even we'll talk about Matthew 14:22-23, Jesus walked on water. So did Peter. You know, even Matthew 17:24-27, Peter retrieved a coin from the mouth of a fish to pay his and Jesus taxes. Those are the things that defy nature. Those are the things that I'm talking about when it comes to miracles. Even when we look at we'll just look at in the book of Acts 3, how Peter healed the crippled beggar. Those are the things that we talk about miracles. You know, things that that people will be like, wow, this can never have happened unless God's hand is basically in it. You know, so if you are the type of person that actually when you pray for somebody or like pray for something, like it just automatically just happen in the sense of well, nobody will expect it to happen in the way that it happened because it defies nature. You know. So yeah, those are the type of person that if you have the gift of miracle, yeah. And then we have the gift of evangelism. This is the type of person that they know how to speak in a way that compel people to come to Christ, or even if that person having give their life to Christ yet, when the evangelist speak to them, they actually want to give their life to Christ on the spot. So those person or evangelists, and they actually go on the street, not even the street, they do it in their workplace or around them. They want to bring people, they have this passion, this zeal for bringing people to Christ, seeing people get saved. You know, I remember going in the city, and this guy was an evangelist, and he was just praying for people. And I remember seeing this lady, she wanted to get saved. She actually wanted to know Jesus. She actually wanted to know God, and he was praying for her. And when I saw him just praying about people and talking about God to people, it just, even though I knew I was saved, I actually wanted to get saved again. But like if you have the gift of evangelism, you just have this zeal of seeing people get saved, And then we have the gift of tongues. And people are divided when it comes to the gift of tongues. And some people believe that the gift of tongues is just like hearing a different language, and other people believe that it's like something heavenly, and some people believe that it can be too. And the gift of tongues, when we talk about First Corinthians 14 state, 1 Corinthians 14, for anyone, verse 2, for anyone who speaks in tongues does not speak to people but to God. Indeed, no one understands then the utter mysteries but the Spirit. That's what some people believe that is spiritual language that nobody understands. But others believe that it's just somebody understanding another language, like maybe a language that they haven't spoken before, maybe they have studied. Because if we go back in the time of the Pentecost, before they say that they say ever been, like you just talk about the gathering, and you just talk about how the people were speaking in different language. The people were speaking in different language because it's the day of the Pentecost, and the early believer are gathered. Suddenly they start speaking in languages they have never learned, actually foreign tongues. Imagine the scene. God-fearing Jews from every nation under heaven, bewildered yet hearing their own language speak and being spoken. That's what people believe, that tongues is just like different languages and stuff. And then other people believe that tongues is heavenly language, and some other believe that tongues can be birth. You just hearing different language or also heavenly language. I had a debate with somebody on about that they believe that tongues in the Bible, if we read it in the context, were just people speaking in different languages that they could like their own different languages. But as I read in 1 Corinthians 14:2, Paul just talking about speaking mysteries that nobody understands, so it can be dividing. But when you do have the gift of tongues, ask God for the interpretation of tongues. And I believe also the gift of tongues and the interpretation of tongues go in hand, because even Apostle Paul was talking about, if you have the gift of tongues but don't have the interpretation, how does that edify the church? It doesn't edify the church. But if you have the interpretation of it builds the church up, because we know what you are saying. So that's why if you have the gift of tongues, I believe you also have the interpretation of the tongues that is given unto you. And then we'll just talk about the gift of, and then we have the gift of pastoring. The gift of pastoring is somebody that actually have concern with the lifting of the church. Like they actually have the gift that are concerned with the lifting of the church. When it comes to the gift of pastoring, this person is the one that actually the one who bringing God people to him, in a sense, people to Jesus Christ. This is the people that actually are the one who leading people to God. So when it comes to the gift of pastoring, you need to know the word of God. You need to dive into the word of God, because if you do not know the word of God and you just go and say anything, you leading the people astray. So when it comes to the gift of pastoring, you should have the knowledge for the word of God, the zeal for the word of God. So when you go preach on the pulpit, you will know what you're saying that will actually that will actually lead people to God instead of astray. So if you have the gift of pastoring, you should have the gift of you have to have the zeal of lifting the church, or to have to seeing the church being lifted up. And then we have the gift of teaching. The gift of teaching is those are the people that it's easy for people to understand what they are saying, what they are teaching. When it comes to the gift of teaching, when they speak, people actually understand. They are teaching with so much understanding. I remember somebody said my sister have the gift of teaching, because when she teach the word, it's just easy for you to understand, easy for you to get. Do other people that have the gift of teaching. And when it comes to the gift of teaching, you don't have to necessarily be a pastor. People who have the gift of teaching are not pastors, but people who are pastors should know the word of God, should to know how to teach, in a sense, because they are the one bringing people to God. But if you have the gift of teaching, you don't have to necessarily be a pastor. You just have to have the zeal of teaching people God's word, so they can be able to understand and to know it. And then we have the gift of leading. The gift of leading just remind me of Joseph. And Joseph was a leader. He had the gift of leading, because wherever he went, he was a leader. Even when he was in jail, even when he was in the house, when he was a maid, a servant, he was the lead amongst the servants. Even when he was in jail, he was the lead in the jail cell. Like he was in second, before he can actually be second in command. He had leadership, And with leader, they actually know the people weakness and strength. And when it comes to that strength, when they know the person's strength, they can be able to assign them tasks that actually fit for them. And then they actually, when it comes to the weakness of the person, they found a way to actually make it into a strength. Those are leaders when I talk about. So if you feel like you like Joseph, and wherever you go, you are, and people are always putting you on I would say second, or like you have the ability to know and understand people's strengths and weaknesses, and actually give them tests doing in a job or even somewhere else, that's your gift of leadership. And then we have the gift of service, and the gift of service is meeting people's physical needs. It can be out of the church or in the church. You're not expecting anything back. You're always willing to want to help other people. You meet the physical need of the person. Maybe it can be helping, maybe it's the old lady Susan in the church, and at times you go to her house to water her plants, or even to do to mow her lawn. To do other things that I talk about, service and meeting the physical need, so those are and then one of the gifts I was talk about is the gift of healing. And the gift of healing, I think I already talked about that, which is different from the gift of miracle. But when it comes to the gift of healing, most believers consider to be physical issues, but also it can be physical issues, but also it can be about the soul also. The reason why I say therapists and those people have the gift of healing, because when people go through traumatic events, they are able to speak to the person in a way that heal that story. And even when we look at the woman with the issue of blood before, even though she was sick, she was sick, but when she touched the garment of Jesus, Jesus said she was healed. He didn't say that she was it was, we could say it was miracle, but he called it healing. So healing can be in a sense delivering from certain issues, so if you have the gift of healing, you are the one that actually heal the physical needs, physical need of people. And like I was letting you guys know, it just always in my head therapists or counselor have the gift of healing, because they all, even though they don't know it. That's why I say when it comes to your spiritual gift, it also, that's why I say when it comes to your gifting, do not only say my gifting work inside the church. Even though it said they edify the church and bring and glorify God, but you have to also understand that it glorify God. So when it comes to spiritual gift, can also be used outside of the church, because those people that like I was just telling you, I was just giving example of people who have the gift of healing, can be a counselor, a therapist. They can use the gift to actually work in the calling and the assignment that God has called them. So you don't have to say, oh, my gift, my spiritual gift, I cannot use it outside. Your spiritual gift can go hand in hand with your career or with what God has called you to do and be. So it doesn't always have to be just, oh, I only can use my spiritual gift inside the church, or I cannot use it outside the church, or it doesn't tie in with my career. No, it actually do at times. Your spiritual gift can be used outside of your career. God can use it in a way that can actually bring glory to him. So yeah, love you guys, and bye.